Hi, grade 9s. This is just a quick message from you, Ms. van Square, to help you with your subject choice that you have to make now by the end of the year. Please remember that we do not want to discourage you to take science, but we want you to make an educated decision when you do decide to take science. Because science is seen as one of the hardest, actually, according to the statistics of the IEB, the hardest subject in the IEB, when you make the decision to take physical science, you need to realize that you're going to have to work at it. It will take some time spent in ASPs, it will take some practice time, but if these are one of the careers that you would like to pursue, then you are going to need physical science. So the medicines, all the medical degrees, you will need physical science for. I think you know that already. There's engineering. All the engineering degrees you will also need science for. If you want to do plain science research, if you want to go in the academic field doing research, if you want to become a dentist, optometrist, all those medical degrees as well, you will need science. Then there are some, and those are actually it, guys. Again, we don't want to discourage you, but we just want you to make an educated decision on what you are choosing. Now, yeah, these careers actually need maths only. So some of you might be thinking of these careers, and I've got some matric speaking to you a little bit later as well, where they tell you why they have decided to take science or not take science. And I really want you to have a good listen to what they have to say, because yeah, if you don't want to believe me, you can believe them. But for these degrees, you only need maths. You do not need science. Please remember, for every person, there is something that you love. I love science, but there are other people that do not like science. I would never be able to do a subject like history or art, and maybe those teachers wouldn't be able to do science, but you find something that you are good at and that you love. All right, now we're going to get to the careers where you don't need maths or science actually. So some of these you do need math, but for most of them you don't need. For all of them you don't need science. So you can see the picture: sales and marketing, finance, any financial direction. You do not need science. I'm going to go through these quickly because you can always pause where there's something that you're interested in. All the media, filmmaking, any of these degrees you do not need science for. And as I said, you can always do a bridging course if you change your mind. Law, banking, civil services, any of these also no science. Law again, because I know there are so many of you that want to do law. Remember, for sports, the only sports degree that you do need science for is physiotherapy. The others you don't. Design, graphic design. People think that you need science to do web and game design. No, for computer science, you will need maths, but not science. All the artistic directions, modeling, painting, any of those design type jobs, you do not need science for. Lots of the academic directions, you would also not need science for. As I said, obviously, if you want to become a science teacher, that would be lovely. And then you're going to need science, but otherwise, you won't. All right, guys, so what I want you to do is listen to the matrics as they give you some advice on whether you should be taking science or not. So I've asked a few of them to give you an idea. So these 3 students actually ended up dropping science, and I'm going to play you their little message. We are two matric students who have dropped science. Yeah, and I'd say, so I took science thinking it was going to open up as many opportunities as possible. But then I got into grade 10, started working on science, and it started out well. But then the work just got really intense. And I felt as though my other subjects were really declining. I wasn't enjoying science. Come the third term, I decided to leave at the end of the year to join a new subject. And ever since I left science, I'd say I've had more time for my other subjects. I've been a lot happier, and I haven't been struggling as much. And I can also assign more time to the subjects I am struggling with now that I'm not spending most of my time with science. I did like science, but unfortunately my marks were not good and were pulling down my total term mark. So ever since I've dropped science, my marks have really improved, and it was just holding me back from getting my distinction. So I think I made the right choice.
I'm not saying don't take science, but it's not a good idea if you're not willing to put the time in and do ASPs. My personal experience is that I did not put time into science and I dropped it because my marks were looking good enough. Don't listen to people when they say that science is going to open doors for you. It won't open doors if you're not getting the marks or if you want to become an engineer or a doctor. Take science if you love it and you're willing to put time into it.
Okay, guys, so those students were all students that did not end up taking science, and it gave them a lot more time in their life. The next two girls actually decided to take science, but they just explaining to you that it does take a bit of time. So here we go.
I took science because it was a requirement for a degree that I want to do. However, it takes up a lot of time, and most of my time is worked on physics rather than the other subjects that I could focus more on. Like Bianca, I spend a lot of my time working on science to make sure it's a good enough mark. I chose it because I didn't want to close any doors because I didn't know what I was going to do yet. And once I worked out that I needed it, I had to put in a lot of effort and neglect my other subjects.
And now we're going to listen to some students who take science and love science. And please, grade nines, if you have any doubts, please come and see us. We will also help you. And we can also talk to your parents if your parents would like some more information or find out more about what the universities require. All right, so let's listen to the others.
I enjoyed science and that's why I took it. And I'm still enjoying it now and I'm ending up doing a science degree. So take science if you need it and always take subjects you enjoy. I've always been fascinated by science, but I used to have a strong resentment towards it because I didn't fully understand the concepts. However, once I took it in grade 10 and I started enjoying the subject, I haven't regretted my decision to take it at all. If you do have a passion for science, I advise you take it. But also don't forget that it requires a lot of hard work to achieve a good mark. But it still is a fascinating subject. I'm not here to tell you to take science, but I'm here to tell you my side of the story. Science was not always my favorite subject and I struggled a bit throughout my years. But every time I figured that one question out, it just felt great. It's one of those things that you have to work hard for in order for it to feel good. It may be hard, but it just works out and it feels great. So maybe consider it.
There you have it, grade 9. So Summatrix giving you advice, and you can always ask them. And as I said, you can always come to the science teachers if you need some help deciding.